Alright, so I'm going to update. This is my generator transfer panel here. It's a square D. And I've had some questions, so I'm just going to kind of update and bring everybody up to speed on this. So this box, when I purchased just the box, it came with two 60 amp breakers. It was $98, and now this box goes for $129. And the way I have it set up is my generator feed or supply is 30 amp breaker, and the idea or theory behind that is that I'm using a 10 gauge cord from an 8,000 watt generator with the 30 amp hookup, 30 amp inlet. So this 30 amp will help protect the cord generator, along with the generator has protection on it, so you're making sure that all your areas are covered. Because if you had a 60 here and for some reason something wonky happened, you have no protection here. On this side, this is our utility supply. So this is a 60 amp, and this kind of acts like a sub panel on this side. So 60, because if for some reason everything here comes on, would probably pop a 30, but on the utility side, we don't have to worry about that if we got a 60 in there. And the wire size coming to this 60, I believe, is like 6 gauge wire. So whatever it has to be to run 60 amps, I believe it's 6 gauge wire. So we're covered that way. And like I said, on this one, that's just a 10 gauge wire coming in. So you don't want to run a 60 amp breaker there, because then your wire is not protected, or cord maybe. So this first one here is going to be this double pole 15 amp is the well pump. So that takes up 2 spots here. And then number 7 here. This first one's going to be the furnace. The second one's going to be the sump pump. So because this is on one pole, because this is a single breaker, you know, this is pulling from both lines of the generator on the hots. This is only one. I split it up to kind of balance it so that the furnace typically only runs during the winter months. Sump pump typically only runs during the summer months. So that way you don't have these both pulling on that one pole at the same time, typically. Then we go to the next one here. We have the refrigerator, kitchen outlets, and then the refrigerator. So this kitchen is actually doubled off a couple times. So there's outlets for the kitchen on one wall. There's a sink light, under cabinet light, and then also there's some other lights or other outlets that are in a different, like our sunroom, that when they added on, they pulled off the kitchen outlets for some reason. This here is going to be then the outlet for the refrigerator, and then also on that wall there's another outlet, and that's what we have our microwave plugged into. So that's how we kind of have this set up here. We also have a refrigerator downstairs. So like I said, if you want to kind of balance these out, you know, you have a refrigerator on this pole. So if we want to run the one downstairs, this is also a generator hot outlet, and this is on the sump pump. So I just put this in line going, you know, the wire going to the sump pump. I threw an outlet here right by the box. And then also over here, this one is also hot. This is a GFCI, and this goes to those kitchen outlets. So I also have a 20 amp down here if for some reason I need that. I don't think that I would, but just the way that this GFCI had to be wired in, it works that way. This way everything's protected up in the kitchen, and if I need an outlet down here that's hot, it is, and I just marked it so I know. When I've come down here, I've always thought this is the only one that's hot, but actually the one over there is as well. So here's just the information there on the box itself. And like I said, when I first purchased it, it came with two 60 amp breakers here, so never really thought about balancing or anything about that, or worried about that. So I don't know if it's that big of a deal or not. The little bit that we've used the thing, we've had some storms, I've never had any issues with it. Alright, so this is what it looks like on the inside here. So we got those 2 wires on the 2 hots coming up to that 60, and the red and the black are going to be the 10 gauge wire. Got an extra ground in there, a bigger neutral that comes through. And then because it's acting like a sub panel, you have to make sure that your ground bar and the neutral bar are not, what is it called, bonded together or whatever. There's a screw that would go right in there and bond it to the box. You want to make sure the neutral is separate from the ground. So, and then when you set it up, all your grounds go to the ground, your neutrals are going to go to the neutral bus there, neutral bar. So that's kind of what it looks like. It's really not that much to it. And then I can show you where we go from there. So this 60 here then is what feeds that sub panel. Below I have this is a different sub panel for the bathroom stuff, but you can see that's how that's tied in. I'm not going to take the cover off on this one, but that's kind of how it's all put together there. So there you go. If you got other questions, I want to say I spent about $250 doing this setup because I had 25 feet of the 10 gauge wire, obviously the 6 gauge wire there that comes across from the main panel. I don't recall what that costs. Breakers were probably about 20 bucks, and then, you know, these breakers here that didn't come in the box, just the two mains did. So yeah, I think about $250 is what I paid for this setup, and then I installed it myself. Alright, so this is my L1430 inlet. So I believe I paid 30 bucks for this. This is Reliance brand, and this is designed to be outdoors, but I just have it in my garage here. And that just goes through the sill plate in the basement there, and then it goes right to the junction box, which is like I said, I bought 25 feet. I don't think I used all. It's a pretty short run. And the most expensive part of the piece here is going to be this generator. 8,000 watts I think is kind of overkill for what we got for that 30 amp. It's never struggled even running everything. And we usually load it up pretty good because you use a lot of electric appliances when you can't use your stove or oven, that type of thing, to prepare food. So you have to bring out like hot plates and that type of thing. So I do have this set up to run natural gas, propane, or regular fuel gas. But yeah, I got this after I did the transfer. I had the panel and everything set up, and then we actually lost power and I didn't have a generator. And we were out without power for, I don't know if it was 30 hours or 40 hours. It was a decent amount of time. So after that, then I decided, well, I'm just gonna have to bite the bullet and buy it. I don't remember what this cost. I want to say 1,000 maybe it was more than that, but it's 8,000 watts running, 10,000 starting. So like I said, this thing's pretty heavy duty. I haven't had any issues with the thing not being able to power that 30 amp outlet. And then there's some outlets out here too, so if you want to run some appliances in your garage, maybe the garage door opener, or if you got a chest freezer or something like that in your garage, you can run that as well. So alright, that's gonna be it. If you got questions, just comment below.